late, but we had to take care of some stuff. Welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm your host, Kalari GXE, along with my amazing co-host, Pix. Let me do a quick bop over to let people know we're live. You know, I've been accused of neglecting that as well, and it's been a trying couple of days, y'all, and I'm honest enough to admit it. But now we are back. We're in good form, and we're going to talk about this amazing campaign because I feel like I could have jumped on all the negative that has been going on the last couple of days, but I don't want to give that too much air. We're going to talk about some of the things that the GOP are pushing later on, but I think today's cast needs to be about Kamala's amazing trajectory, the way she has been campaigning, the star power that she brings. Hi, thank you so much, Pix. I appreciate that too. And Beans, welcome to the chat, hun. I think the problem with a lot of people right now is we're 7 days out from something that could make history in a positive way or drag us back to a dark time. And because of that, it's hard to like know. Let me make sure the audio. Give me a moment, y'all, because I'm not seeing the speakers move. Yeah. There we go. Okay. I was just making sure. I want to make sure that everything's going through sound wise.
Can you hear me all right in there?
Yeah. I'm seeing the bars move. I was very worried about that. But as I was saying, so many people are focused on just the negative that I got in my head, should I cover the fight and the negative stuff? And I was like, no. I had plans last Tuesday, and we didn't get to really do it on Friday either because I really wasn't feeling that well. Today is going to talk about the positives. And one of the positives I see is that Kamala isn't taken for granted any of the battleground states or any of the states that she's gone to. And I know that you've seen a lot of that as well, Pix.
Yeah.
I think what
see, that's the bonus thing that I get to see it from the outside because I get to see it from a global perspective. Yeah. So I love the fact that I get to see it from a different view than you get to see it because you're in a battleground state, but you also are like hyper fixated within that battleground state.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm echoing like crazy.
I turned down the one audio thing. Let me see if that's better for all of y'all. Okay, let me turn down Discord. I don't want to turn down Discord. Let me. Let's see. Is that better? Is there still an echo?
Let me see if that's because it might be. I might need to turn down Discord on my side.
Because right now I'm not getting much feedback, but I want to make sure. Okay, I adjusted all the sound levels. Okay.
Yeah, that's better. I might have to turn down my microphone on my side, so that might be the issue. But, oh no, echo, choppy, perfect. Okay, good.
Okay.
So what I was saying. Oh, are we gonna scratch the new chair?
Uh-oh.
We're getting used to a new setup and a new chair and the whole thing. So what I was saying was, being that I'm able to see it from a different perspective, I get to see not just battleground states, but I'm able to see non-battleground state videos as well.
Yeah.
And I can see not even just Canadian stuff, but I'm able to see stuff that the videos that are being shown in the UK, I'm seeing stuff that is being shown in India. I'm being able to see stuff that's being shown in other parts of the world as well. So it is very interesting that I have access to these things more readily than you guys probably are.
Yeah.
And the perspective is, our view is, the world wants Kamala and Tim to win.
Yeah.
But we need them to win. It's like we want them to, but we need them to. And there's a very, very finite group of people. And I mean, it's probably less than how many I've got up on my fingers right now in my digits. There are several names, and that's it, of people who actually want the Orange Cretin to win.
Yeah.
and that's it. And one of them starts with P, one of them starts with G, another one starts like, do I need to keep going? Um, one's Orville Redenbacher. There's different ones. Obviously it's not Orville Redenbacher.
Yeah.
There are only certain people in the world that want certain people to, like, these two people to win. Um, and because of that, the world is watching, and the world needs Kamala and Tim to win. So
Agreed.
if we were able to cast our vote as well, we would be we would be all driving everybody to the polls, and there would not be one undecided voter. There would be not one red state. And Mike Johnson would not be the Speaker of the House.
Yeah. Or the Hydra agent, as we call them.
Hakeem Jeffries would not even, it would not even be questioned. Just swear him in right now. Just swear that gentleman in and get him in there and just get him doing the thing that he needs to be doing. And please, just get him doing that. And if there's a way that we can get justice, I use that term very, very loosely, Alito and Thomas out as quickly as possible, retire those SOBs as quickly as possible.
Yeah. They can take Gorsh too.
Yeah, they can fly whatever flags they want to and do whatever they want to on whatever yachts they want to, and
that's why I'm saying. I know the 7 days is gonna feel both long and short, because for some people it's just a week, but for a lot of us, because we are inundated by the polls and these news articles. Like the Washington Post just had 3 people resign because of the gaffe that happened a couple of days back in New York, which, like I said, I'm not covering it because I already know it was just a hate rally. But they made it small while they tried to do a splash opinion piece saying that VP Harris is taking plays out of Trump's playbook by highlighting his cognitive decline. It was like, are you serious, Washington Post? You literally have a man who went on a tangent with other people saying the most vile, hateful things, and your biggest page is an opinion piece attacking VP Harris, saying that she's using Trump's playbook. Hey, Miss Bridget, thank you for the subscription with your Prime. I'm just like, for real? Is this what we're doing? I know the fourth estate is broken. It feels irreparably broken right now for me. Because you have these people who have a vested interest in literal fascism winning over our country. And it's just like, I get you want to try to act like you're fair and balanced, but when you have something as big as what happened in Manhattan happen, and your idea is to run with VP Harris is acting like Trump, it's hard not to see it for what it is. I appreciate that a lot. I'm just like, I really feel like when I think on the way we are being played by people who have a vested interest in a potential Trump win, this is why I started cutting off a lot of people I even know that are still in the business. I still follow Eli because he's one of the few people who could take me going upside his head and not take it to heart. I get annoyed with him sometimes. We went toe to toe about why stacking the Supreme Courts right now isn't a smart move for the Biden administration, because everybody thought that would be the solution. It's like, well, if Joe Biden was still running and we did that stack the court and he lost to Trump, do you realize how fucked forever we would have been? You can't just say stuff blanketly like stack the courts, because depending on who's in the White House, that could be really bad for people. So he and I have had our words, but he's still somebody that's in the journalism field that I feel like I could still follow and talk to, because he's not afraid to get pushed and take pushback. We've had our words. I've called him out his face. I'm sure he called me out mine, but I do like the fact that he's willing to hear it, even if he doesn't agree with it. He's one of the few left There are a lot of people just trying to keep their jobs, trying to get their books pushed, trying to make a name for themselves that just go with this garbage. And one of the ladies who pushed that op ed, she's well known in our circles for being a shit stirrer. And it's funny to me that people don't understand the amount of little hands in political commentary and in political journalism that have the nepotism leans, that have a financial incentive to try to be as divisive as possible. I don't know if some of you remember Louise Mensch. She's not even American. She's a British reporter. She's another one that all of a sudden she wants to be K-Hive. Because a lot of people might not even understand what K-Hive is. There's a joke that a few of us, including Bianca, who was a very big name on Twitter before she was like, I'm tired of this shit. We came up with that because we supported VP Harris when she did her first run for president. And the thing is, women like Louise Mensch called us all out of our face. I got called a cult leader personally by her. I was like, ma'am, you don't even know me. So I don't appreciate that. Now all of a sudden she wants to be down with us. And she's like, oh, I was always down with the KI. Were you though? No, you weren't. Because no. And she couldn't even play the whole, well, it's just women of color trying to keep me as a white woman out. No, there's plenty of white women in the K-Hive. There still are. But they did not use the fact that they were associated with what we were doing for the campaign as a, you can't talk about me, you can't touch me, I'm untouchable, like she wanted to do. So I said, there's a lot of game playing in politics right now. And all I've told people is, I'm not telling you how to vote at all. That is not my job. I'm telling you to vote. If you want to, there's this doofus on YouTube that I keep seeing, this Chase guy. I don't even remember his last name, but his commercials irk me because he's like, I'm a libertarian and you don't want to vote for either side because they're both bad. And I'll cut the income tax, which made me pause because it's like, you're telling people you're going to cut the income tax. What are you going to put in replace for that? Because the income tax goes to a lot of things, including funding for schools, funding for road fixing, funding for museums and other stuff. You're just blanketly doing a campaign promise that would fuck our economy over. Why do you do stuff like this? And then you realize he's not affiliated to anything. He just has enough money to buy YouTube ads. Where my son even knew of his ads. That's how much ad space he brought. And that's why I tell people, eliminate the noise. Do your own searching for what these candidates stand on and what you think they can bring, because a lot of it is promises. But I'm not here to tell anybody how to vote. I know how I voted. I know how most of my family has voted. And I'm good with that. I'm not here to lead horses to water, because you know you can't make them drink. I get annoyed when people are like, well, I need to be swayed. Do you? It must be nice to live in that kind of bubble where your rights aren't on the line, where your livelihood isn't on the line, where people are talking about doing something that will destabilize our country financial-wise for years to come if they got their way. Trump's tariffs would be a fucking nightmare. Anybody talking about eliminating income tax obviously doesn't understand economics, so I'm definitely going to vote for the person who has a degree in economics and has never made such a promise like that. Her only campaign thing that I am definitely getting behind is a wealth tax, which our country has been needed. We've needed it since Reagan. Because Reagan's trickle down never happened. Never was going to happen. I sat and watched when they did that conference of businessmen who said, well, will you have more jobs available for people if you don't have to pay much more in taxes? And they laughed. Because this is a game to them. They want more money. They don't want to pay. They want more money. They don't want to have to deal with safety regulations. So yes, I want somebody who wants to go after those motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I'm at least open about that. And I think that would be like that anywhere. I'm not sure how it works out like that where you are, Pix, but it's really clear that people can't understand that the government doesn't control corporations. Matter of fact, it feels opposite most of the time. I think there's a vested interest in big business to have their way in what our politicians do. And I think a lot of them are scared, especially those who do own media things, to have somebody like VP Harris not be in charge, because she's not going to play those kind of games. And it just really makes me feel like there are a lot of people out there that assume that her administration is going to change things, and they're not giving her the opportunity yet to prove herself. Oh, she's had 4 years. She's the VP. She didn't have 4 years. And if you really go by what the administration did under Joe Biden with her help, you can't say she didn't do anything. That's insane to me, the way these people.
Joe Biden.
Yeah. They don't care, though. Now, all of a sudden, Kamala is a border czar. But she said it at the debates. Go ahead.
Can I also add one thing? She wasn't actually the border czar. She was sent down to like Nicaragua and a bunch of other places to go to the source to actually help stop from the source.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually to stop at the border. It was to start to curb the issue from the source, so that if there was going to be an immigration issue, that it was going to be, how about we stop from the source, so that if immigration is going to happen properly, it was going to be managed, so that we're not having coyote come through with so many children. How about we bring them through proper immigration ways, so that we bring them in through like educational ways, that we bring them through with scholarships, that we bring them through with refugee status, with humanitarian aid, whatever it is. Excuse me, sorry.
No, you're good.
That we bring them through with all of these different positive, healthy, proper channels, instead of waiting for the coyotes to bring them in the middle of the night and try to like sneak them in, so that it's like some dangerous way, and they haven't eaten in 16 days, and they're all crammed into like a semi truck, and they have like, they're covered in their own filth, and they haven't showered, and there are like several of them that are like fully sick and they need medical care. Yet nobody wants to be put into a vehicle like that.
No.
Nobody wants to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars and not know whether or not they're going to make it across the border.
Exactly.
That's not how they want to live their lives. That's not how they want to start a life. So there are so many different things that have been thrown at these people. And the idea for being called a border czar, it's so disrespectful on every possible level. And the fact that when you're the vice president, you are given a role. You are the president of the Senate. You are in control of the Senate. You are the one that is in control of what happens to the Senate. You are the voice if the president ceases to stop being the president, and that is it.
Yeah.
You are control of the Senate. You have limited control and capacity as a ruler within that setting. You don't make policies. You don't make executive orders. You don't get control of anything like that. If, like Tim Waltz was saying, if Kamala says you're going to Oman and you are now going to be dealing with Oman, guess what? You're packing your bags and your ass is on the next plane to Oman.
Exactly.
Okay, you're going to Oman and you're dealing with Oman. Okay, well, first of all, have fun with milk tea, and I hope that we get to actually see those two hook up, because that would be really, really cool. Would you not want to see? Let's just say, would that not just be like the coolest thing ever to see like milk tea and Tim Wolf have like a sit down?
That would be nice.
I personally, I knew that was gonna happen. She's like pacing and she knocked the light over. Anyways, I would love that so much. Please make this happen. When he said the word Oman, I was like, milk tea, please. Find Tim Waltz. If this happens, go to the embassy. Please find him. Please find him. We need you two to have tea together so much. Anyways, I know that's totally silent,
but that it speaks to the point of people don't understand Kamala's role or any role of the VP, but also she made it clear during the debates, which we rewatched on here, where she said
Yes.
we had a bipartisan bill that would have given more money for security, more money for checkpoint guards, expedited the process through our judicial system, and Trump killed that bill.
Yeah.
And he did it for vanity purposes. So when people want to call her the border czar, they know what they're doing. They bank on people who don't understand civics or understand what the vice president's role is. They think, oh, it's just a backup president. No. They have their own set of stuff, including tie breaking in the Senate, including, securing the election, which is what Mike Pence did in 2021 and got threatened to be killed for it. This is like, I don't understand how people can be this connected online, yet this emotionally and intellectually disconnected from facts. And it's like, oh, you're being mean, you're calling people stupid. But when you have the tools to be smarter and you continue to ignore them, what am I supposed to use? I think stupid fits. And these people are being willfully stupid at this point. Because if you grew up like we did with Schoolhouse Rock and a lot of stuff us Gen Xers didn't take for granted, you should know the basic functions of our Congress, our House, and our White House. And the judiciary system. It's checks and balances. And there is no one position that should be able to supersede all. That's why it's called checks and balances. If it can't get through the House and Congress, the president can veto it. But if the president vetoes or approves of something and our judiciary system says no, that's against the law, they can stop that. But most people don't understand that. They think the president's a king. They think the VP is a king in waiting. I don't know. It's ridiculous. And these are just basic facts.
And to go back to one, like, very, very fine point, Trump was in power for 4 years. If he had wanted to actually do something other than round up women and children and lay them out on concrete floors.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm echoing again. Hold on a second. I'm going to decrease my own volume.
Okay. Because I was like, I got all the sound down.
That might actually help.
Now you mute it. I see mute by your name. It's muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Now I can hear you again. Hi, Nala.
Alrighty. Is that better now?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear any echo because I'm listening to you through the studio.
It's probably because I can hear myself, and that's probably where, like, I'm...
She wants out the window again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
She's pacing. She's just like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I want the old chair. I want my table back. I want all of it. Anyways, what I was saying was the fact that he could have done something more, and she wants to be spanked. Apparently, I'm hot right now.
No, it's all right.
Don't worry.
That sweetie always comes first, as far as I'm concerned.
Nobody has to see her. No. Have some dignity. Have some dignity. Anyways, where I was going with that was the fact that he has had plenty of time to do something, and if he gets back in, the frightening thing is he is planning on deporting not just illegal immigrants, but he's going to do that enactment of 1798.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to go after people that are not just legal
all the naturalized citizens, all the people that he deems enemies of the state. The thing is, I didn't want to cover what happened in Manhattan simply because
I know.
I know where he was going with that. The motherfucker doesn't even realize that Puerto Rico is literally a territory. He didn't realize the U.S. Virgin Islands was a territory. It's literally in the name. But he said to the governor there, well, who's your president? And I know the governor of the Virgin Islands was like dumbfounded because it's like, you're our president. It's scary that people want to put this level of duncery, as I'm just making up words, but this level of dunce back into power. He doesn't understand our capitals. He doesn't understand our territories. He doesn't understand that you can't just look at somebody in America who might speak more than one language, because a lot of us do, who looks different than you and assume that they don't belong here. But
Even if he claims that his wife speaks 7 languages.
I doubt it. She barely speaks English.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
No. But let's bring joy. Let's talk joy.
Speaking of which, like I said, the main topic of this is how Kamala's campaign this year, even though she didn't have as much time as a normal candidate, she has been like a rock star. She was here in Michigan, and I know a lot of people got up in their feels about this, but I enjoyed the fact that Eminem has been no nonsense with his support. And I definitely wanted to highlight him introducing Barack Obama because a lot of people took umbrage with it, but I loved it because Emma's been a real one about why he cares. And he has been anti-Trump since Trump was initially put into our White House. So anybody acting brand new to this, I don't understand you, but welcome, you must be brand new. So we're going to play this really quick clip. Get rid of this ad, hopefully.
Unlimited creation.
Let me make sure before I do this that I got the sound back up. Because I did turn the sound down just a little bit. And I want to make sure we can all hear this because this was amazing.
What up, though? So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me.
Yep.
And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice.
Yep.
So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please.
Yes.
I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known.
Speak of them.
I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
You know, I have done a
Alyssa
lot of
Slotkin.
rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. And I noticed my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti.
Yes.
I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. I thought Eminem was going to be performing. I was going to jump out. Love me some Eminem.
So why doesn't your anti...
And that clip, thank you for the ad, YouTube, just highlights just the fun. And like I said, I know we technically can't claim Barack Obama as a Gen Xer, but I still like claiming him as a Gen Xer. Because you know how many presidents you got to get out there that can freaking word for word sing the opening to Lose Yourself? Come on now. The thing I loved was Michigan has been taken for granted by Trump and his ilk for far too long. I seen Alyssa Slotkin, who I definitely gave a vote to. She's running for Senate here. She's replacing Deb Stabenow, whose office I work closely with. I'm going to miss Senator Stabenow because she really, you could call her office with just concerns or an issue and they reach out. And Deb Stabenow was so good for Michigan. She was such a good senator. So I was worried when she was like, I'm retiring, I think we could find somebody that could replace me, but my time is done. And I was not sure about Alyssa Slotkin at first. And then I looked into her and her policies. I see she was a House of Representative member. And then I seen the attack ads that Mike Rogers was doing against her, including that weird ad where she was like, she's denied funding for white farmers. And they emphasized the white farmers. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like that, huh? And Alyssa's campaign has been straightforward. She's for bipartisanship because she knows you got to work across the aisles to get stuff done. But she's definitely running on women's rights. And Callie Barr, a little bit further up north from us, too. There are a lot more women feeling emboldened by these last few years to say enough's enough.
Yeah.
We need people who understand our bodies in there so they can stop governing our bodies. I also voted for 2 justices that did a really amazing campaign too. Tyler Banks, I believe her name is, and another older white woman. She's a young black woman justice running with another white woman as a dual ticket for our judiciary system because they're tired of seeing a system that's stacked against us. And I think people are really assuming, because Michigan does have a lot of rural sections, my area does have a lot of MAGA, but there are a lot more Harris Walt signs popping up too. People are sick of it. They really are. And I think it's because how electrifying this campaign is. We've had Bruce Springsteen open up for VP Harris. Eminem. This rally I'm about to play a bit of, because this was big. I don't care how you feel about Beyonce. I love me some Beyonce. I've been a Beyonce fan since Destiny's Child. I don't see that changing. I know everybody wants to pull her into the Diddy shit, but unless you got direct proof, I don't want to hear it. Right now, I love me some Beyonce. So when she did this opening rally in Houston, for me, it was just more validation that VP Harris understands that while she wants to be a legislator, because we have to get her name out there, and we have to go harder because she has so much less time, she is showing that she can reach out to people on the field and people who think people are untouchable, like celebrities. Because so many celebrities like to play that game. Oh, I don't want to talk about politics. I'll be judged. I'll be canceled. And no, she has these big names saying no. We support VP Harris. And Bruce Springsteen is very vocal. Whether he doesn't want to get in the mix of things normally or not. He was one of the first that canceled on the All-Star stuff and other concerts we had at NC when I lived at NC, and they did that HB 12 bathroom bill.
Yep.
So Bruce is not shy about what he believes in. So for him to open up a rally for her and be vocal, that's a big deal. I think a lot more people are seeing that she really just wants to be president of all of us. She's not calling people that won't vote for her enemies. She's saying that she hopes they understand that she will be their president too, whether they like her or not. And I think that's refreshing. You know?
Yeah. And what I also love is the fact that she has repeatedly said, I need to earn your vote.
Yeah.
No matter what, I need to earn your vote, not what can you do for me?
Exactly.
Or, as Trump has said repeatedly, I don't care about you. I want your vote.
Yeah. It's take.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's not what have you done for me lately? it's what can I do for you? Like the whole enemies list versus to-do list.
Yeah. And definitely the prosecutor versus the felon.
Yeah.
Whether people like it or not, he is credibly convicted of 31 charges in New York, and he's still got a 91 case count in Georgia, and Fanny's waiting for you, man. That's why I'm looking forward to 7 days. Because they delayed, because they had to, because he was crying, the government's doing this, he's being persecuted, election interference. So Georgia was like, okay, we can be patient. We'll delay everything till after the election. But you bet your bottom dollar, once he loses, Fanny's going to be there waiting for him. But it's like I said, with this whole campaign, there's been very few missteps. I know people were pissed about her picking Tim Walz. I thought it was strategic and amazing because I love me some Tim Walz now. Everything I've learned about him being governor, everything he says, it's just like, this is good. This was a really good pick. And a lot of people out here, farm country, as I like to call it, are feeling that way too. Like, this is somebody that listens to us, that sees us, that understands us, along with VP Harris. And he's down home and honest. I miss that. I do. I feel like that is sorely lacking in politics. And anybody that wants to ding that, they're the same ones that tried to railroad Jimmy Carter, who made it to 100 and said he is voting for Kamala. So I know Pix. I know you love him for reals. That's why I'm just like, we need more Jimmy Carters in this world and less everybody else, for real. But I'm gonna fire up this Houston rally. It's only 8 minutes. I just want to show how electrifying it is when Beyonce does anything, because, girl.
Airstrikes, one of which killed at least 17 people sheltering in a school building. It comes as ceasefire talks are set to resume in the coming days, but every hour that passes sees Gaza's humanitarian crisis worsen, even with a new $200 million US aid package.
It's not enough to provide funding. What's so critical is that the aid gets to the people who need it.
With the presidential race on a knife's edge, Kamala Harris has brought out the big guns as she campaigns in Georgia.
The next president of the United States of America, Vice President Kamala Harris.
And Bruce Springsteen's the latest celeb to endorse her.
Oh, meet me in a land of hope and dreams.
Beyonce will join Harris at a rally in Texas tomorrow.
I thought it grabbed the rally.
And Colorado's Supreme Court is considering a unique lawsuit launched on behalf of 5 elephants at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. The
I should have known. There was way too much ABC stuff. Give me just a moment. I can fix this. We just need to...
Sorry, I gotta close the window because the rain coming in.
No problem. You don't want to be rained on, trust me. I don't want my OneDrive. No, thank you.
Electronics here. And she's probably gonna jump up very soon and be like, why?
Yeah.
Why is my window closed?
Why do you keep doing this to me, Mom?
Close my window, Mom. Where's the husband? Calling the police.
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong thing. I grabbed the ABC News feed. So what we are going to do is get this fixed really quick. Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all, but I want to make sure that we properly... Look at that elephant. Elephants to a zoo. They should. They've been exploited for years. But here, CNN, as much as I can't stand them, has the...
I'll just say
I love Kelly Rowland coming out in the suit too. What were you gonna say?
I love that suit. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What I was gonna say really quickly was the one that Michelle Obama said was that telling the men not to sit on their anger because what they were actually going to be doing was that if they were sitting on their anger, it was going to come back to, I I mean, I'm saying it as if I'm a part of the American women.
We get it.
Yeah. And women presenting and female presenting.
Yeah.
For everybody that is going to be reproductively female presenting, males who are going to be complacent in this, they're going to regret the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
Sitting this one out. And if they think that sitting this one out or voting independently or voting Jill Stein, and I'm going to be completely honest, voting Jill Stein at this point, you might as well vote for Trump because you know what you're doing.
Exactly. And not only that, she's compromised. She took recount money, never did a recount. She has credible pictures in Moscow. I would never understand why people ignore that about Jill Stein, but she, the guy I call Live Action Grady, oh my gosh. His name's on the tip of my tongue, but everybody knows who I'm talking about because I went upside his head a couple of times too. There are a lot of spoiler people. And the bear guy. Let's not forget the Kennedy I eat dead bear cubs guy. They're all the spoilers. They are our naders, our pros. They are there to take attention from the issues. Yeah. They have single button issues, and they don't care that none of their single button issues matter to the majority of us when, for a lot of us, our rights to live are on the line. And I don't say that lightly. As somebody who is going through fertility stuff right now, the fact is, if a certain person gets into power, my safety is legitimately on the line from that. And I don't want to deal with that if I can help it. And I think people got to understand that for a lot of people, we are seeing, and I'm going to get to a clip of Black men reading Project 2025, just so people can get, if you don't believe it from me, because I'm a fair-brained woman, I want you to hear it from other Black men then. This is dangerous. Yeah. And you can't say in one breath, protect Black women, and then in another breath say, well, I'm not going to vote because it don't matter to me. Because that's not protecting anybody at this point. Because they're after all of us. But especially women. You know? But I definitely wanted to highlight this rally because, like I said, having star power, I think, is going to help. Because it's still, at the end of the day, a popularity contest more than anything.
It's Kelly.
Oh my gosh. Kelly looks fabulous. Get it, Miss Carter.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to my Houston family. I am so proud to be here back in Houston with my mama T and my sister. Welcome to this day, this remarkable, this joyous day. A date, a day, a time, a moment with weight and meaning for our country, for our people, and for the world. A moment, Houston, where we grab back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story of division and hatred.
Yes.
A moment when we grab back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story of misogyny and racism. We are grabbing back the pen from those who are trying to write an American story that would deny the right for women to make our own decisions about our bodies.
Yes.
Houston, we are grabbing back the pen. We are grabbing back the pen. That pen to forge a new path with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We are grabbing back the pen to write a new American story, a story of community, of equality, strength, of kindness, and of hope. When I was a little girl and I pledged allegiance to the United States of America, that meant something to me.
Same.
That flag meant something to me.
Yes.
And today, that means grabbing that pen and casting my vote, as I already did 2 days ago, for Kamala Harris
last
and
week.
Tim Walz. Now, Houston, you've already had a hand in creating destiny. So do what you do and do this thing again.
Yes. And before Bay even starts, Kelly was fired up. You can tell. This is their home. This is so much is on the line for all of us. And I felt it in my spirit listening to her talk again. Grab the pen is such a good term for this.
Yeah.
Do what you can. We don't have to fight with MAGA. We really don't. The best way to strategically put people who want to drag us backwards into the idea that we're not going back is to cast those ballots. The time of fighting these people are done. We can't fight with them. They are all aboard the MAGA train. So instead of trying to yank them off, let them ride with Trump. Let them do what they got to do. The rest of us need to vote because we know what's on the line.
Yeah, they can vote January 5th.
Yep.
H-Town. We are so happy to be standing
Look at the guy
here
in the
on the
background. He's
stage,
starstruck.
proud country, Texas women supporting and celebrating the one and only Vice President Kamala Harris. A woman who's been pushing for what this country really needs right now. Unity.
Yes.
It's impossible not to feel the energy in this room, the positivity, the community, the humanity. We are at the precipice of an incredible shift, the brink of history. I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a mother.
Yes.
A mother who cares deeply about the world my children and all of our children live in. A world where we have the freedom to control our bodies. A world where we're not divided. Our past, our present, our future merge to meet us here. Imagine our daughters growing up seeing what's possible with no ceilings, no limitations. Imagine our grandmothers. Imagine what they feel right now. Those who have lived to see this historic day. Even those who are no longer physically with us. Imagine all of their sacrifice. The sacrifices made so we can witness the strength of a woman standing in her power, reimagining what leadership is. For all the men and women in this room and watching around the country, we need you. Your voice has power and magnitude. Your vote is one of the most valuable tools, and we need you. Your freedom is your God-given right, your human right.
Yes.
Everybody say Texas. Texas plays a pivotal role to change the course of our future. Texans and Houstonians from Third Ward River Oaks, Sugarland, Fifth Ward, Ailey, Memorial, Southwest Side, North Side, all the way down to Most City.
Get it, girl.
We all have a role to play to make this a reality. We're all part of something much bigger. We must vote. And we need you. It's time to sing a new song. A song that began 248 years ago. The old notes of downfall, discord, despair no longer resonate. Our generations of loved ones before us are whispering a prophecy, a quest, a calling, an anthem. Our moment right now, it's time for America to sing a new song. Our voices sing a chorus of unity. They sing a song of dignity and opportunity. Are y'all ready to add your voice to the new American song?
Already did with my baby and my husband.
So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a big, loud Texas welcome to the next President of the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris.
That was one of the best openings that I've seen in a while for a candidate running and for a potential president. And what I love about this is everybody thinks celebrities aren't human. These people came from these areas. When Beyonce was naming those areas, just because before she became a celebrity, that was her home. That was where she kicked it. Just like Eminem, who still kicked. You could still find him in Detroit from time to time. They are not removed from where they came from. That's why I said, hey, Nala, sweetie. This campaign is so full of just real energy. And that's why I wanted to focus on that and not just focus on Trump all the time, because Trump is going to be Trump. Trump has not changed in 74 years. Trump is never going to change. And it's not just Trump we need to be worried about right now. I think people tend to forget that he has a whole cadre of people who want him to win for their own agendas. So, is Miss Ma'am okay?
Yeah, she's the co-host.
Okay. Hi, Nala, dear. Well, hopefully she enjoys this next clip, because I felt like this was definitely important to put into the rotation, because I think people think it's just about Trump, and it's not. There is so much at stake with Project 2025 that we don't need to forget. Hey, Fire Eater. Welcome to the chat. And WD for H. Yup. For real, though. But we're going to get to this because I think a lot of people forget just what's down with Project 2025. And they have been strategically trying to separate black men from black women voters. And I just want you to see what is on the line. You don't got to take it from me. Take it from people that you might give more weight to their words.
I've heard of Project 2025, and I've read inserts of Project 2025.
No, I haven't. Actually, I haven't heard about it at all.
No, I haven't heard about it.
I just heard Project 2025 was something that wasn't for us, or something to try to eliminate us slowly but surely. I could be wrong, but I know it ain't nothing good for us.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Hello, my name is Tyrone Howard, professor of education at UCLA. And what I'd like to bring to your attention are some of the concerning and disturbing aspects of Project 2025 that we in the Black community should be concerned about.
Federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately, the Federal Department of Education should be eliminated.
Outrageous. That's just complete nonsense.
There's no clarity here as to what this really means. Are we eliminating resources? Are we eliminating things? And who is this being eliminated for? There's already a shortage of resources that young black kids get, what are we going to do if we don't provide the same education resources for everyone?
And that's one of the things that I think people don't understand. It was one of the things that I was passionate about, especially at NC when kiddo was going to a brick and mortar school. One of the things that we talked about on school board and other volunteer stuff was the fact that if they didn't pass enough of the state test, they didn't get funding. If they didn't get funding, shit, like even being able to feed the kids, to being able to order certain textbooks, to even be able to function as a school was in jeopardy. So you get these people with Project 2025 that come in and gut the DOE completely, and then what? Schools like Parkwood fall into the wayside. Schools all over the nation just crumple, and they bring up these weird secular schools instead with vouchers that will only teach things like the benefits of slavery and other ridiculous theocracy. It's scary. And while I had the benefit of taking kiddo out and putting him in a virtual school from junior high to high school, not a lot of parents trust that. And it really, unless your kid is kind of like mine, where he's antisocial somewhat and aneurotypical, most kids want to be around other kids when they're learning. So this would be a nightmare for those of us who have kids that are old enough to be in the school system. And I don't think people understand enough that our community would most definitely suffer the most from something like this. You know?
I think Project 2025 is something that's going to set us back about 20 years.
Wow.
50 years, actually.
I don't think enough people are educated on just how bad this 2025 thing is.
Don't believe Trump when he plays dumb on Project 2025.
He
knows exactly what it is, and it includes...
Let's skip it, though. This one fires me up even before you get started, because critical race theory is not taught from K to 12. And I've been saying this for years. I've been backed up by people who are actually educators as well. Critical race theory is an elective for law students in some colleges, not even all colleges. But the right ran with the whole idea that for some reason, K through 12 is teaching critical race theory, which is no. It is literally an elective for, I don't even think you need it for the bar exam in some places. It's a legal elective for those who want to be lawyers. Yet we have allowed that lie to fester and grow, and now people believe that they're really teaching critical race theory from K to 12. It makes no sense. It's like if you say a lie enough, people will believe it's fact. I don't understand that. But I can once again attest that critical race theory, and no, not books on black hair, not books on people's rights to exist, that's not critical race theory, you cretins. It's literally an elective for people who want to study law, and it's not even in every college. Come on now.
Around race and racism are now being eliminated, which to me is erasing a core part of our history.
Black history is just not black history. It's actual the history. It's the history. It's not just black history, you know, because you can't go back in history and not find black people.
You're trying to erase the history, but you're not willing to necessarily erase the legislation that holds us down on a day-to-day basis. Got it. Insane. Okay. Cool. That's a wicked game that they're playing.
I feel like they're trying to just disintegrate everything, and I don't appreciate that at all.
No, this is crazy. This is actually crazy. This is worse than the other one.
It's overwhelming. I can't believe someone actually took the time to put together this document that is, it's absurd. It's absurd.
The death penalty has always been highly problematic because a disproportionate number of people who are on death row are black men. This would ensure their instant death.
No, I don't vote for genocide. I don't vote for genocide. I don't vote for black men being executed inappropriately and untimely. I don't vote for any of that, never have.
I don't believe in the death penalty personally. You know, I feel what he said.
vengeance is not ours, it's his.
This is the same group that believes that the lives of, would-be children are considered. And then to become like judicial hitmen, right? It's like, it's crazy because you can't use the same God for both of them.
We have a lot of individuals who are obviously doing, time in prison and our jail systems without having gone through the proper channels of being allowed a, proper due process.
What it does really is just let black men know that we're not respected. We're still not looked at as human. This is still like an extermination.
I think the only thing that really scares me about this is the conservative administration should do everything possible to obtain the finality for the 44 prisoners currently on death row. That seems to say even if they're innocent, kill them. That's scary.
Liberal states have now become sanctuaries for abortion tourism. Health and Human Services should use every available tool, including the cutting of funds, to ensure that every state reports exactly how many abortions take place.
It seems like they're trying to cover every door to make sure a woman doesn't have the right to choose what happens with her body. And I think it's just crazy.
I feel like they should have their choice of how they want to treat their bodies and do what they want with their bodies, so it shouldn't be up to no government to do that.
This is an important issue.
Just a quick pause. All of us have been saying that for years. I got called hyperbolic when I said back in 2016 that this was their agenda. They're going to take our rights to choose away. Oh no, they won't do that. You're just being hyperbolic. You hate Trump. And then what happened to Dobbs? I don't say things lightly. I go by what I see. And it has been clear that they don't want women to have our own freedoms in this country for a long time. There have been rumblings amongst conservatives for a while that they should have never gave us, not just as black people, but women the right to vote in the first place. And like I showed on Saturday before YouTube tried to ding me for it, Wyoming was the first state to allow women to vote. That's why they called the equality state. So the fact of the matter is they've been pissed at us since the 1800s for having the audacity to use our dainty little brains to say we want proper representation. And this Project 2025 wants to come after our rights hard. It's insane.
That we should all be concerned about because women's rights are being taken away. This takes us to illegal and backroom abortions where women put their lives at risk in ways that we haven't seen for centuries in this country.
They've been through a great deal of suffrage, so this is just another thing to add on to more of that suffrage. And
me suffering, brother, man. Suffrage.
I feel like they should have their choice of how they want to treat their bodies and do what they want with their bodies. So it shouldn't be up to no government to do that. No, I'm not. This is not something I want to vote for at all. I wouldn't vote for it.
I want my daughters to be able to grow up. They're 6 to 12. I want them to be able to grow up and have freedom, rights.
He's already said he wants to do a national abortion ban. So this is just proof positive.
The Secretary should phase out all existing income-driven repayment plans by making new loans, including consolidation loans, ineligible. There should be no loan forgiveness.
This means that your loans will be due soon, and many of them with interest and penalty and fees, so more money out of your pocket. Why is that important? Because black people are twice as likely to have larger student loan debts than people from other races, which means that it only delays the ability to purchase homes and other wealth-building strategies.
No loan forgiveness is pretty scary. If it's no forgiveness and if all the borrowers should have to repay their loans, some people are not in a position to do that. And I don't think a lot of people can recover from the debt that college is putting on people. So, you be putting kids in a position where it's almost impossible for them to win.
Election season is here. Remember, who you vote for is secret, but whether you vote is public information. After this election,
definitely vote. This is what I wanted to get to before we go to the next topic.
The next administration should work with Congress to amend Title VII to prohibit Equal Employment Opportunity Commission from collecting EEO-1 data and any other social classifications in employment for both private and public workplaces.
What this means is that we will no longer have protections in the workplace that prevent discrimination, racism, or unfair treatment of people of color.
Wow.
That was the perfect response to that. And there is more, but I really want you to go to this channel. I thought I hit subscribe. Yeah. They're called Hip Hollywood. They are, for real, doing the Lord's work with this because so many people don't understand what's at stake. Trump is just a puppet to the people who really want to pull the strings. And the fact is, when I heard that part, because I had already read it, and my brain was like, they can't be serious about this, but I wanted to see what other people thought. And it's like that professor said, they don't want you to be able to report workplace discrimination. It's not just about black people, even though, yeah, we get it in our workplace. Women who are hit upon or, just sexually harassed no longer would have the option to report that and have it on file to prove to them that they are in a hostile work environment. Non-black, but POC like Asians, Hispanic, Southeast Asians, and indigenous people who are on the workforce would no longer be able to complain and have a federally backed mandate stopping this kind of hostile work environment. This is the shit that Project 2025 has come up with that bother them. But they're supposed to be the land of freedom and the land of, we want a united America, but just united our way, where you feel othered and we are on top.
And I will also add 3 other points. Hair, because hair is a big issue that gets, you're not going to have dreads, you're not going to be able to do your hair up a certain way, you're not going to be able to do a certain style. That's going to be Muslims, Sikh. Sorry, she's walking in front of the light again.
No, it's okay.
This will be fixed for next week. Oh my goodness. I thought it was fixed and she knocked it over. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, I think I fixed the issue. If I put myself on mute on this, then I should be okay.
Okay.
Nope, I can still hear the echo.
I'm sorry about that. What I might have to do is we have extra microphones. I might have to send one out just in case.
Yeah, I've got a microphone on here, so it's going into my phone.
Yeah.
But I've also got I've got the microphone into
your laptop. That just mutes you. I can't. And when you do that, it completely mutes you. Nope, it's still quiet. I just wanted to make sure that you knew it was quiet.
You're not going to be able to hear me there. So
okay.
What if I turn myself down there? We will get this solved, people. I promise we will get this solved.
Yes.
What if I do it this way? I cover the microphone instead of shut it off. I'm going to bury my microphone on my phone.
Okay.
Maybe that'll help. That'll help a little bit.
Because like I said, I'm listening to you through the studio, so I'm not picking up any echo.
Okay. So, do that as well. So
yeah.
Like that. Yeah, totally lost. I will read the little things that I've been writing as I've been going. Really quickly, it is really insane that I'll just read it the way that I wrote it. How can one of the most unfuckable people be in charge of the fucking state where Queen Bey is the queen of the state? It seems like a dichotomous insanity. We really, really, really need Colin to come in there and just take care of shit. I really hope that Colin gets in there.
Me too.
So, if the Department of Education is revoked, this one particular part, this very clearly needs to be pointed out. If the Department of Education is revoked, this means all of the meals, all of the school meals are going to be revoked.
Yeah.
We're just going to focus on this for 1 second. If those meals are revoked, all of the children that are receiving those meals throughout the day are then going to be hungry during the day.
Yeah.
And those meals are incredibly important to the lower WIC and SNAP.
Yeah, lower income families and
lower,
and even working class families. Yep.
And that means that that level of poverty is going to return, which means that those kids are going to be trying to reach out to different levels of society to try to get meals, which means that they're going to be turning back to crime, which means that crime rate is going to be coming back, which means that because that crime rate is going to be coming back, I'm not sure why I'm underwatch so much. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to
No. It's okay, Pix.
Underwater.
I can still hear you if that's the issue.
You can hear me, but I guess I'm really echoey.
And see, that's the thing. I don't hear any echo, so I don't know if it's just like something doubles coming through. Maybe it's my mic.
I can definitely hear an extra echo.
Oh, you try talking. Let me mute my mic and see if maybe it's that.
No, it's coming through on my, like, I'm double micing.
Okay, because I thought.
Okay, so where I was going with that is oh. Yeah, I'm not hearing my double echo now. That's really wild. Yay!
I have my mic muted, so I'm going to mute when you're talking, and that way it doesn't do that.
Odd. Oh.
Okay. I mute my mic when you talk so that you're not getting that feedback. And I know you wanted to talk about the DOEs being gutted too. I think we figured out the issue. My mic picks up everything. Like, Greg got me this mic. It's really good, but it is voice concentrated. So any voice is picked up and amplified. You know, that's why if you hear Kiddo walking around and talking to himself, or you hear Greg is on the phone with somebody, that'll pick up in the background too, because this mic was meant to pick up everything. But I did not want us to like leave on the note of the Project 2025 thing, and I had a couple of things. And I think I'm going to move the Steve Shives 12 Angry Men to Friday night. And I did want to announce that Tuesday, November 5th, instead of the afternoon Bonnet Chronicles, I am going to do a special where we are live during the polling, and I want to be here when we get the final results. So I timed it from 8 to 11. If we have to go a little bit over, I'm fine with that. Pix, if you want to join me, that'll be lovely. I want to be here live to see whether history is going to be made in a good way or in a bad way. You're going to get a natural reaction from me anyway. I'm going to have my box of Kleenex because I'm going to be freaking teared up. I know it. Either way. So that is next week, next Tuesday. I am definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be a little later than our normal time slot, but I really want to be here live to watch history in the making. And I know you're going to be there, girl. I'm telling you, Beans, we are going to have so much fun that night. We're going to highlight the ups and downs of this campaign. We're going to highlight all the stuff that, you know, just people are saying. Because I think a lot of people aren't hearing on the ground. you know. We're not getting all the voices of the voters who are behind VP Harris. We're still getting, even in that CNN thing, how they're neck and neck. And it's like, I'm not seeing that. I'm not.
And that was the other thing that I was going to point out as well earlier. It was being that I'm on the global outer thing, we're not seeing this twisted push that the U.S. is seeing, because we're not seeing these slanted, skewed, like we're seeing it as Trump has been putting these very twisted, flagrant numbers out, and we're seeing these really messed up polls that he's creating, these messed up things. And if you actually look at the lists of what these things are, a lot of these lists are like the Romanov polling of the conflict, and like the names of the things are like completely messed up, and it's like you can tell that it was made up. And if you like look at it, and it's like an anagram of something else, and the anagram of something else, and it's like it's so skewed, and it's like, oh, Trump is winning in New York by like 83% to like Kamala's 42%. Okay, first of all, those two numbers don't come together properly. Second of all, do you know how to lift? Third, do you know how to tie your Velcro shoes? Maybe you should learn how to tie your Velcro shoes, because the golf course is calling you, Trump, and you need to go there. Hi, are we still pouting?
Aw, she's gonna take a while to get used to a new setup.
She is. You're fine. Completely fine. I'm gonna pull your tail for a minute, okay?
But that's why I'm like, I don't buy the polls. I'm sorry. I am seeing groundwork like nobody's business in full support of VP Harris's, I'm not even going to say potential, hopeful presidential bid. I am so hopeful. That is the word I think people need to hold on to in these next 7 days, almost 6 days now, and realize that if you voted, you did your part. Now we sit, we wait, and we hope. That's what I'm going to hold on to. But I wanted to show this clip by Dark Brandon, this quick cartoon, to show that it's not just Democrats. That's why I'm laughing at all these weird poll numbers, because Arizona is a well-known, it's kind of like here, some parts of Michigan that are really red, like super red. And I think a lot of people are fed up. We're tired of enemies. We're tired of people telling us we got to take a side. We want to side with actual progress. So Dark Brandon took the news thing with people being interviewed and turned it into an animated thing. And I just wanted to show this really quick before we wrap things up.
Would cut taxes for billionaires. But
TikTok is so weird. Why are you dancing with that baby, ma'am?
$6,000 for your family. 100 million Americans would get money back. Vote Kamala.
Wow.
Hey there,
I don't
folks.
understand
Hope you're doing
TikTok.
well today. Wanted to come with an interesting video. This has to do with people out of, I believe it's out of Phoenix, Arizona. Either way, it's Arizona Republicans for Harris. And so really interesting to kind of hear their ideas, see that these groups exist in these swing states, or, you know, again, I think of Arizona as a red state. But it's interesting to see and hear from people from the other side who are now coming in and voting for Harris. And this isn't something you see too often on Donald Trump's side. We don't see Democrats for Trump. Let's take a listen.
Nope.
That Republicans are saying that that is not our party, that Donald Trump does not represent us.
It is,
that
though.
We have to find a leader that we are proud to vote for to become the president of the United States.
So January 6th makes Donald Trump absolutely unfit for office. I never imagined in a million years that something like that could happen.
To keep democracy here, especially after January 6th, at their insurrection. So we want the Republican Party to go back to having normal candidates that respect the rule of law. And we're trying to push for Harris, who we believe will uphold law and order and protect our elections, and we think she'll be a great president.
So it's interesting. We heard a few different ideas there. The first lady had spoken about feeling abandoned by the party, that the party had gone in such a direction it no longer represented her. And the second young lady really had an issue with January 6th, which I think is going to turn a lot of people away from Donald Trump. And hopefully we're going to see that this upcoming election. And then finally, the third gentleman just wanted to kind of sound like he wanted to go back to normalcy, something so many of us desire, me included. Let's keep listening.
As a former teacher of 11 years and a mother of 6 children, I strongly believe in having a leader here in the United States that is a leader of civility and respects the rule of law, and is not just a leader that I am proud for my own children, for our community, but also for the global world as well.
I couldn't agree more. It's adult time, and Donald Trump needs to sit at the kids' table, or better yet, in jail.
Donald Trump single-handedly changed the Republican Party from what it was, and to be honest, I don't know if I can ever go back. At this point, it seems like the divide is too big.
And it does really sadden me to see people have no party at all. You know, I think this is something after this election we need to fix. And maybe we have 3 parties, you know, those folks who are a little more left and liberal, those folks who are...
Or maybe people start acting pragmatic and not just voting based on party affiliation. Because when I was in the South, I voted for Republicans who got the job done. I am a lifelong Democrat right now because I have not seen enough of that party to be like, oh, I don't want to be a Democrat no more. Though when I was younger, I dabbled a little bit with thinking about independent people. And then I seen people like Cornel West. I finally remembered your name, you idiot. And I realized that the independent scene is full of wackadoos. Like that Chase Rogers who wants to get rid of the income tax. At the end of the day, who represents your voice is the most important. But still trying to pit party against party is why we're in this mess in the first place. Because the Republicans gravitated to Trump because they knew people are cult of personality driven. They don't care about facts. They don't care about legislation. They just want the guy that makes them feel good for being awful right now. And the fact of the matter is there are a lot of Republicans that are just like, I just want fiscal conservatism. I want right to life. I want to feel like my voice matters in those pop button topics. But I don't want to dehumanize people. I don't want to call people my enemy. I don't want to constantly live in fear of people that don't look like me. But this is what their party has become, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. From everything I've seen, especially since Reagan, this is how the Republicans have been. They just were a bit more civil in their speech. And the fact of the matter is, now you have a bullhorn. So it really is in the conservatives' lap right now, if this is where you really want to tread. The get-off point should have been in 2016. But for a lot of you, even in 2020, it wasn't enough. So what does this man have to do? He's already signing Bibles and giving them out like he wrote them. He is so... Yeah. He's like the walking, talking guide to the 7 deadly sins. He's just so awful. And I don't understand how good people... whether you think you're a good conservative person or not, can't see him for what he is. For me, I already had my opinion of Donald Trump being somebody that grew up in New York City. But his constant disrespect of veterans and military families was it for me. You don't get another chance after that. I don't care. And the fact of the matter is, people are willing to overlook this, but yet use our vets as props. How much more of this man, how much more of his real self do you have to see for you to realize he does not represent your party either? He is a puppet for people who want to take women's rights away. And if you're a woman and you're down for that because, oh, well, I don't have my uterus anymore, why should I care? Or, oh, women should fall in line. They're a bit too loosey-goosey. You sound like the same people from the 1920s that said the flappers were too wild. The 1940s that said women were too loose with the troops coming back. The 1950s, when they're just too liberal with their alcohol and their smoking. We need to rein them back. The 1960s, when miniskirts became a thing. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. The 70s, when we finally started to get rights to our own bank accounts, credit cards, and no-fault divorces. The 80s, where we could join the fucking workforce and actually be powerful. The 90s, where we tried to chill the fuck out from that and find work-life balance onto today in the aughts. Women have gone through it, and we are seeing people who want to drag us back because they think they'd be okay too. When is it going to be enough? I want people to think on that as they go to the ballots next week. If you haven't voted early like some of us. If you haven't the mail-in voting options like some of us. There's so much on the line, and there's so much that you can do to make it where we don't have to worry about our rights. If you don't care, just say you don't care. Don't play in our faces that you care while you're literally voting away our autonomy. When you're voting away our rights to choose, our rights to be, and soon our rights to vote. Because that's in Project 2025 as well. They want to take everything. But I would definitely recommend Dark Brandon. Pix, is there anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the Michelle Obama thing. I wanted to also say that she is such an incredibly powerful voice, and if you have a chance to listen to her entire thing, it's about 40 minutes long, and one of the things that she touches upon is the fact that she needs to be heard. And when I say she, I mean every female presenting person in your world. And that person does not matter what demographic you come from. That person's future is in your voting right. And you need to put that pen in your hand, and you need to make that choice based off of what you think is the right decision for their future. And if there is a chance that that person's future is going to change based off of what you are going to decide, and it's not going to be the same as what your future could possibly be, and it could literally change for the worse, then you know that you are making the wrong decision. And how dare you think that you are better than them? So you know why you're voting the way that you're voting. Don't pick up that pen if you're going to vote for somebody that isn't going to have the life that you think that you deserve, and they don't deserve the same thing. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Agreed. And thank you so much, Pix. And like I said, plan to be back on Friday, but I will let you guys know. You know, I just did some blood tests earlier today. I'm going to go check that out. Like I said, not sick. We're trying to prevent that because I think a lot of people still don't understand how hypocalcemia works. But I'm trying to do everything I can to not have to deal with that shit again. So I get my regular routine blood tests and I have to check on other things, but that's my business. But we will definitely be back, and we will be back on Saturday. I will be getting with you tomorrow for our group meeting on what we want to talk about on Saturday, because that is going to be fun. The And podcast is on Saturdays. It is going to be 2 or sometimes more hours, depending on how much fun we want to have on YouTube. Yeah. We'll upload this to YouTube. I'm going to play back to see what I can do about the sound stuff before I upload it. But Pix, thank you so much for joining me. It is so much fun to bounce stuff. And I love the new setup.
I look forward to doing the election countdown night, and I will also say that my anemia is really showing right now, so I am going to be putting some makeup on for our next video because the anemia is really showing for me right now. So I need to put a little bit of color on my face. So I'm gonna and I'm already taking my iron, but yeah, it's really starting to show. So I need to. I'm looking a little bit paler than I meant to. So I'm gonna have to
Girl, you're good. Trust me, what I'm dealing with right now, I know what you mean, and I'm gonna make a nice spinach and chicken dish for dinner right now too, because I gotta keep those levels up as well. But thank you so much for sitting in. We will definitely do our meetup to talk about the and next topic stuff as well. Thank you everybody who sat in. Miss Bridge, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you Beans for sitting in. Picks, you know I love you in here. Let me get Fire Eater, thank you so much for sitting in as well. And anybody who watches, even if you only watch when we re-upload it to YouTube, y'all are all appreciate it. And we will definitely be back on either Friday, and we're definitely going to be back Tuesday night next week for the election results and everything else in between. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you soon. Bye, y'all.